So let me just be honest about NXT Great American Bash. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought the show was overall mediocre. Nothing really spectacular happened at the show. There wasn't anything that really blew my mind. Um, and I want to talk about also like give my review on Great American Bash, but also discuss the days of the old NXT, right? The NXT takeover days. And I miss those days, but I'll talk about that in a different discussion. But if you haven't already, please like the video for the algorithm. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark. And, we're on another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. So, in my opinion, the best match of that night was the triple threat for the North American title. And Dominic Mysterio came out the winner, which I predicted. The best part of the match, the best moment was Rhea Bloody Ripley, hitting her reptile finisher on Wes Lee through the announce table. And I'm convinced Rhea Ripley is China like. And that was definitely China like. That's something China would have done to any smaller wrestler, right? She reminds you a little bit of China, a little bit, not a whole lot, because I know a lot of people are trying to compare her to China and whatnot. A little bit. Let's not get crazy, you know. And I don't really like to compare wrestlers to past wrestlers. I just don't like those comparisons as much. A lot of people like to compare, you know, wrestlers of today to Shawn Michaels. And there's only one Shawn Michaels, you know, just like there's one China. But I digress. But the first match, I think, was the NXT. Well, no, the kickoff show. I saw the kickoff show. The kickoff show was solid. Only because of Dragon Lee and Nathan Fraser. Seriously, Nathan Fraser is so damn good in that ring. Like he probably was the performer of the night for me. Definitely the wrestler of the night. And he was on the kickoff show. Like there was nobody that could keep up with him in that ring. I haven't watched a lot of his matches, but that was one of the first matches I've watched of him. And man, I want to see more matches from him. I might go back and watch more of his matches from NXT just because of that one kickoff show. But man, he was very impressive. He stole the entire match, in my opinion. And his team did go over on Noam Dar. I don't know the other dude's name. Like I don't know all these characters in NXT. I really don't. Because I don't watch it on a weekly basis. But all I know is his team won. Dragon Lee, Nathan Fraser, those two Latinos. Yeah. And to open the show was the NXT Tag Team title match with Tony D'Angelo and Lorenzo Parker, I believe, versus Gallus. And they go over. Tony D'Angelo and Lorenzo Parker won the tag team titles. The crowd was feeling Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT, you know, and they won the titles. I don't know too much about the Gallus, and I've seen a little bit of Tony D'Angelo. Um, I saw his feud with Santos Escobar at one point, but the match itself was nothing to brag about. It was normal pace, normal pacing. You know, not a lot of not a lot of crazy spots. Nothing too impressive. It was just a basic tag team match. Nothing really special took place. So that's that. Um, Next, we get Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport in a Weapons Wild match. I like the fact that they involve the family element, to a wrestler whenever they're in a hometown. There are families at ringside, whether it's the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, and it's a good way to get the babyface over. It's a good way to gain sympathy for the babyface, and I think Roxanne Perez, you know, she's definitely the underdog. She has um, that sympathy like aura going for her, and you know, she knows how to garner sympathy, and that's always good as a baby face, especially when you're smaller compared to bigger wrestlers, right? And so she goes over with a sunset flip power bomb onto Blair Davenport onto the steel chairs. She first put her through a table before she hit her with the finisher, and she wins. And it was a decent match. Could have went on a little bit longer. I did appreciate the fact that they did a supermarket brawl on the previous week of NXT, which was a callback to Booker T and Stone Cold, their infamous brawl at the supermarket, which that's never going to get old. So she wins. She beats Blair Davenport. Next, we get Gable Stevenson finally making his debut after I don't know how long. Um, Taking on the new Baron Corbin, I suppose. And Baron Corbin's new theme song, I approve of. Pretty cool, pretty badass. Um, Obviously, a different look, more serious. Gable Stevenson immediately showed off. Very, very talented. The crowd was not into him for some reason. I don't know why. They were just booing him. It was kind of random why they were booing Gable Stevenson. It was his first match. Um, you know, and I'm thinking like, okay, he's gonna go over on Baron Corbin. He's gonna beat him. Well, no. They do a whole double countout finish. And I'm not a big fan of double countouts, right? I thought it was kind of cheap, um, to how the way they finished the match, but they obviously want to prolong it, extend the feud. I thought all of his belly to belly suplexes were very good, well executed, especially the one that he hit toward the barricade. That looked sick. That belly to belly suplex to the barricade, that looked sick. So he had an impressive debut. I'm just confused as to why they decided to boo him out of nowhere. So I mean, it's his first match. You know, we'll find out if if the guy really has it or not. We'll find out eventually, but time will tell, right? So moving on to the NXT North American title match, which I just pretty much covered. That was match of the night, you know, hands down. Um, Dominic went over, of course. He's your biggest heel in the WWE right now, and NXT as a third brand needs Dominic Mysterio. So smart choice for him to retain here and move on. Um, the next match was the NXT Women's Championship submission match. Okay, so this is the part where I start to fall asleep. I'm not going to lie. I told you that the show was mediocre, and I just wasn't into it. I really wasn't. After the triple threat match, I kind of lost interest. I really did. And I saw a little bit of the match. I know Tiffany Stratton went over on Thea Hale, and that's about it. I didn't really see the entire match. I fell asleep during it, and then I think we had the NXT Championship match after that. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm missing one match that came after that women's championship match. I'm not even sure. Um, Hold on. Let me look. Let me look it up because I'm pretty sure I'm missing a match. Pretty sure that wasn't. Pretty sure that was. There was a match that came after that women's match. Hold on. Bear with me for a second. Let's see. Okay, no, that was no, I didn't miss any matches. Yeah, so the submission match, Tiffany Stratton went over. Um, yeah, after she went over after Chase threw in the towel on behalf of his student, Thea Hale, and yeah, I really can't judge the match because I didn't see the entire match. So the main event was the NXT Championship, Carmella Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov, and I have to go back and watch this match. I'm pretty sure this was a fantastic match, and I'm seeing on here on Bleacher Report that it got an A plus. And Mello defeated Dragunov pinfall to retain the NXT Championship. Um, yeah, I would have to go back and watch that match to see how good it was. Um, Me personally, on judging NXT takeovers, this is not my cup of tea. It really isn't. I was heavily always into the NXT takeovers of old, and there was such high anticipation for those shows when Triple H was running it. Now it just feels like a knockoff. Like there's not that same anticipation anymore. It's not that same intrigue anymore with like NXT takeovers. And I get that they're trying to make it a third brand, but you know, it's gonna take time for more people to care about NXT because a lot of people don't really care about NXT right now. You know, excuse me. A lot of people just don't care about it, and I thought I was going to enjoy the show, but it turned out not to be the case. It was mediocre. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good either. It was just mediocre, run of the mill. I'm pretty sure there's been better NXT shows that I've missed, but this is the one that I want to catch because there was more star power with, of course, Ali, Dominic Mysterio, Baron Corbin, and then the debut of Gable Stevenson, right? But you know, it didn't blow my mind. You know, it's definitely not up to par with the old NXT takeover. So if I had to give this show a grade, I'm gonna give it a C minus. You know, mediocre at best. You know, nothing spectacular. Um, yeah, and I'm pretty sure their next PLE is No Mercy, NXT No Mercy in September. And I've always enjoyed No Mercy pay-per-views and that name, that pay-per-view name itself, the concept. So I'm glad they're bringing back the old um, pay-per-view names, like Great American Bash. They brought back Vengeance and No Mercy. You know, so that's pretty cool. So that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you guys watch NXT Great American Bash? What did you think of it? Well, what was your favorite match of the night? What would you grade the show overall? Give me your thoughts down below. This is Irrational Wrestling Mark, and I'm out. Peace.